Hey there, Glenn here. I'm at the corner of Barrett Road and Highway 115. The reason I'm here is I've had a trucker tell me another story from right here on Highway 115, only about a quarter mile down the road. He was driving home. Well, I'll let him tell a story, but he saw something at the side of the road. I was just down here doing some measurements, so check it out. Let me know what you think.
20-30 yards away was this thing peeking over this pine bush.
It was a large, hairy animal, dark brown, black hair.
All of a sudden, this creature let out I want to call it a blood-curdling, growling, howling scream.
That's when I realized it wasn't my friend that had snuck up on me.
Dude, all the branches that are broken off are red.
That's crazy. There's no medulla.
My name is Jerome, and I have had some experiences in my life that are unexplainable at best.
Okay.
I'm a 30-plus year resident of Fremont County, and in the past 15 years moved to Pueblo County. And I'm a truck driver by profession, and there's been some things I can't explain, to put it lightly. But I had an experience up on Highway 115, and it was in the early, I want to say like 3:30 in the morning. There were two trucks. I was the second truck in line, and we were at the end of the day for us, and we were headed home. And as we came around the corner,
What time of year?
Oh,
what year was this? What time of year? What time
this
of night?
had to have been 2009, and it was in the, I want to say midsummer,
Okay.
mid to late summer. I remember it was still pretty warm, and
About what time of night?
about 3:30 in the morning.
Oh wow. Okay.
But right around just south of Barrett Road on 115, there was a figure in the off the edge of the road in my headlights, and I saw eye shine, which was like a orangish yellow amber eye shine. Well, as I drove by it followed me with its eyes. I mean, it saw me coming and then followed me as I drove by. Didn't move a muscle other than its head.
Okay.
And it really, it startled me because I could see the silhouette. I could see. Now, when you're sitting in the cab of a semi, your eye level is 8.5 to 9 feet off the ground.
Okay.
This thing looked me eye to eye, and it was standing off of the edge of the road. So in my estimation, whatever it was about 9+ feet tall. 9+ feet tall. 9+ feet tall. About 3 feet off of the asphalt.
Okay. Oh, so is that close to the asphalt?
Right. Yeah, it was getting ready to. Its next step would have been on the pavement.
Oh, so that was the sense of it, that it was coming across the road?
Yeah, and it's almost like it saw me coming, because it didn't turn its head to see me. It turned its whole torso toward
Okay.
me. And as I went by, it's looking at me. I can see the eye shine, and it did a whole body twist. It's not like the head was following me. It was the whole body just kind of twisted
And followed you as you passed.
as I went by. You know, it was 3:30 in the morning. A beautiful summer night.
On the next sign, tell me where you would say it is in height-wise on this yellow one.
It would have been at the top of the square sign.
Okay, so I'll go back and measure that. so we know.
Okay.
But it's... So he said it was about to the top of this square as eye level. That... ...9 feet and change. 9.5 feet maybe, 9'3". That's pretty dang tall. And that's about 4 feet off the edge of the road. But down at the gully, it drops off faster than this. 10 feet tall, maybe more, so we know.
Okay.
But it's just up here.
Right, we were coming into this corner, and just right here where this roadwork sign is.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay, so it was right on the edge.
And
It wasn't in the gully. It was right on the edge of the road.
Right on the edge of the asphalt, but it drops off pretty significantly there.
Right there, yeah. So here's the gully specifically where he said it was. You notice the road's dropping off much more than it was where I had the deer sign. And if it was a few feet off the road, it dropped off. But look at that gully. It goes underneath the highway. I think they use these gullies to move. There's a culvert going underneath here right now. Fairly old one. New construction going on in here. But yeah, he said it was standing just a few feet off the road, but it's much steeper, which means it could have been a couple of feet taller even than he thinks. So 10.5 feet maybe? I don't know.
And the eyes were, you can tell a rodent or an owl or something, anything that's going to have eye shine. You can tell those eyes versus eyes that are 12 inches apart, or roughly. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, we were running highway speeds. You look at something as you go by, it might be a little distorted as far as exact measurements, but the overall size was incredibly large. And there's really no explanation. I've driven through that spot thousands of times, and I mean literally thousands and thousands of times. And I've tried to make sense of it as far as what could that have been. There are no trees in that corner. There's trees off down in the gully, but they're not big enough. I mean, they're not really trees, they're bushes.
Yeah.
But there has never been anything, because first try to make sense of it. Maybe it was an owl.
Right.
Maybe. Right. Okay. And so you go through a couple more times, like there's nothing there for an owl to perch on. There's nothing there. And it's like, well, there's only so many answers that you can come up with that make sense. Because I mean, the human brain, it tries to make sense of everything it encounters.
Sure, yeah. We try to put it in a box.
Right. It's human nature to figure things out. But after seeing this, and my buddy and I, we passed by it. He's ahead of me, and I got on the CB, and I said, "Hey, did you see that?" He's like, "See what?" Nothing, I guess. You didn't see it. I'm not saying.
So I wonder if it had stepped up out of the gully between the two trucks.
Well,
after him and before you.
and it could have, because he was probably a quarter mile ahead of me.
Sure. So there's no, I mean, as we're even in the truck right now, even if it was whatever that red thing is on the right-hand side, the generator, at that point, your headlights are lighting that up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like.
But it was even closer to the road than that red thing right there.
Closer than that yellow jacket laying on the side of the road. I mean,
there's no doubt it was in your headlights.
Right. It's
okay. I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was further off.
Oh, no. He was just about to step across the road. Well, and then across the road is all Fort Carson property.
Yep.
There's no one out there.
Yeah. no, it's a different perspective once you're in the vehicle to get an idea of how tall things are. And I mean, this guy here, maybe 5'6", 5'9", maybe. Maybe that's a 6 foot tall sign, from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
But as we pass him, that'll be interesting because we're going to pass him about the same distance, maybe a little closer.
He'll be a little bit closer, but
we'll get a sense of how tall or short he's going to be.
Yeah, you'll be looking down on him.
What did you see? So can you describe what you saw and how far off the road it was?
It was probably, let's see, the shoulder of the road is 9 feet. I would say it was 10 to 12 feet from the white line.
Okay.
Was I? Oh, the size of it.
The size of this thing. Let's go back to that.
3.5 to 4 feet at the shoulders. No neck. I mean, you could just see a silhouette of this. It was a mass. I mean,
a mass.
And just, I mean, you can't. I'm going to say it was a bipedal creature because it was standing there. I mean, it's just the. I mean, there's
now people are gonna say it was an elk, it was a moose, it was a bear, it was a whatever.
Right. It was a.
Have you seen those things on 115 before?
I've seen all the big game. There's deer, elk, bear, mountain lion, everything that is native to this area. And I mean, I'm well aware of pretty much every animal that lives here.
Yeah. And I know. I mean, I've come out here and there's critters all along here.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is it's one of the more dangerous highways for hitting animals.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them. No.
Okay.
And I have come face to face with elk. I've come face to face with bear. I've been an outdoorsman in this region all my life. There is nothing that compares in size. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just massive. I mean, I guess I've never come face to face with a moose, thank God. But we don't generally have moose. And
at least on 115.
Right. I mean, it's probably not absolutely unheard of, but it was not a four-legged creature. And it's like as soon as it heard the truck, it just froze and then looked at me, watched me drive by, and I wish I could have seen. I mean, it was headed toward Fort Carson. There's been a lot of hearsay stories of Fort Carson and the Sasquatch. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't live there. I don't know anything about what goes on there.
Right.
But my firm, and I'd always been a believer in the legend of Sasquatch.
Sure.
Because it's fun. As a kid, you grow up like, oh, Dad's scaring you outside the tent. He's rattling.
And Laird Nimoy was cool on In Search Of.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was always good for campfire stories. But then after you experience actually seeing what I believe was a Bigfoot, there's no turning back. You can't unsee what you have seen. You can't unlearn things you've learned. And most people that I talk to are, there's a stigma with the believers. You guys are crazy, or somebody slipped something in your coffee.
Yeah.
Which I know that not to be true. There's way too much evidence, way too many, there's way too many testimonies by credible witnesses.
Yeah.
To deny it. I mean, you look at how many hundreds or thousands of claims every year. These people aren't all crazy, and they're not all lying.
Yeah.
They've seen something that they cannot fully describe or fully disclose in a lot of cases.
Sure.
I can't mention. I would lose my job if
Right.
somebody found out I believe what I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's disturbing to me because if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
not, and believe me, you're not alone. You won't be alone because more people have seen it and not said anything than we'll ever know. It's like it's easy to dismiss, but it's almost impossible to forget.
And this Highway 115 crossing, it's crazy how many stories I've gotten of people seeing something crossing on 115.
And I didn't realize 115 was a hot spot.
Oh, yeah.
To say the least, it's a hot spot. But I started doing some research into the Bigfoot sightings in that area. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was the same year, about the same time frame, a Fort Carson soldier went up Barrett Road, and him and his kid were going to go shooting or something. And they encountered, they claimed it was a Bigfoot, and he tracked it, and he tracked it, and he couldn't catch it, but they saw it, and is like, I'm gonna, try to get closer. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no man alive that can keep up with a Bigfoot. As soon as I rounded that corner and the lights, it got within the light. It's like those eyes lit up. Almost like flipping a switch.
That's crazy.
And that's what got my attention. And I look at it and say, that was quick. That was weird.
And it wasn't reflectors from a sign.
Oh, no. The linear posts are only 4 feet tall, so they wouldn't have even been waist height on them.
Yeah.
But it was the silhouette. I could distinctly make out the silhouette of something that looked, it was eye to eye with me. That's what blew me away, is it was eye to eye contact as I passed. Now, that height, there's just nothing that I could imagine being there, that height, that size, that even fit the description.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable to me.
This figure, so you saw it on the side of the road, you saw the eyes, you saw the outform. Did you see any color?
It was dark.
It was just dark.
The object, it was not just that it was a silhouette, but it was a dark in color.
Okay.
I would say brown, black.
So you said you saw orangish, yellowish eyes. How big? If you had to take a guess, I realize it's only moment.
Right.
Can you try to put any figures on this at all?
God, I would say the size of a silver dollar.
Okay.
Okay. They weren't like great big eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't tiny, but the spacing wasn't right. In comparison, they wouldn't fit in a human head.
Okay.
The spacing wasn't. It's not like they were beady eyes. No, the spacing on them was way. And humans' eyes don't glow in them. They don't give you night shine.
Yeah.
But yeah, in comparison, it was way bigger than a human head.
Okay. And yet you distinctly saw two eyes.
Right.
It wasn't just one eye.
No. It looked straight at me. It was eye contact.
And it didn't run.
No, it froze. It just made like a tree. Just stand there and watch me go by.
Wow. Okay.
And that leads me up to my curiosity of the intelligence of this creature. Now, granted, in the wild, animals learn if you stand still, you can
hide pretty well.
Right? Yeah, you can hide in plain sight, because animalistic instincts, motion draws attention, so you just freeze, and I don't know how intelligent these creatures are. I think they're way more intelligent than anyone would like to believe.
What's going on in your head as you're driving? Now that you're driving down back towards
Oh
the
yeah,
canyon, what's going on in your
away
noggin?
from it is I wanted to tell my partner that I was running with. Like, I just saw something strange, but I was second guessing. I'm second guessing myself. Is that what you really saw? And I'm arguing with myself in the cab of a truck. Yes, that's exactly what I said. No, is it really? Yes, there was no question. It was undeniable. Even arguing with myself, I couldn't deny it.
And then you get home. Let me ask you this. So when you get home, did it still
Oh,
roll in your head?
it's still in my mind from 2009.
Okay.
I can still play it through like a video, driving through and seeing it.
So now, and you drive that road still.
Not as much as I did back then.
What's your vibe when you're driving, especially around that corner? What do you think?
I look. It's become a habit of mine to look exactly where it was, and still try and make sense of make a more logical explanation. And it gives me a little, and not the creeps. I mean, it's not creepy. It's just, yep, that's the spot right there. And every time I go through there, yep, that's the spot. And it's ingrained in my mind.
Yeah.
I saw something that the best explanation is it was a bipedal creature in the dark.
Could you see the legs or arms or anything?
No, I mean, not like no.
No. Okay.
It was
Not a big
I
deal.
was focused more on the eyes.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the eyes and the height. I couldn't see full figure.
Okay. So we were talking about interesting stuff around here, and you were saying down by Beck's Ranch, down on off the Arkansas. Am I reading into something?
No. I've heard of experiences down along the river through there.
Okay. But you don't have anything specific?
No,
Okay.
I don't have anything specific down at Swallows or any.
Okay.
But it is very prime area.
Mm-hmm.
It is secluded, and you have to want to get down there. I've got a friend that his uncle was Secret Service, and he was in the Secret Service and the FBI. And this had to have been, just at a guess, back in the 80s. He had pictures with Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton. He was in the know in the 80s.
Okay.
And so me and my buddy, he invites us down into his game room. It's his basement. He invites us down in the game room, and I'm looking at all the medals, the awards, and the pictures with the presidents, and it's like, this guy might be a little important. Mm-hmm. Well, I come up to this one picture, and it is a creature standing by a tree, and it was a Bigfoot, and I thought, maybe this guy's a hoaxer or something. Maybe. And I asked him, I said, what is this picture? And he looks at me and says, what do you think it is? I said, well, I know what it looks like, but what is it? He says, what do you think it is? He wouldn't openly say. He told me, he says, it was on a hunting trip, and it was in Colorado Rockies. He wouldn't tell me where or anything, but he says he would not admit what he saw. Now, he was wise enough to catch a picture of it.
And this would be in film days. This is not cell phone days.
Right.
This is a camera.
This was way before Photoshop and anything digital. This was this was a physical picture, and he just. I imagine with him being involved with the federal government, that's not something you openly admit.
Right.
Or at least in those days, well, even still to these days.
Yeah.
You work that high up in the government, you don't see strange things. You don't see anything you can't explain.
Right.
But he would not say. All he would do is ask me, "What do you think it is?"
So you see this picture? How could you tell how far away it was?
He was probably, I don't know, probably 100 yards.
Daytime?
Yes. And, I mean, it was obvious to me what I was looking at. So, but just a quiz, what is this?
So,
Nope.
So can you describe what you saw in the photo?
A very, well, and there was nothing to gauge size.
Oh, really?
It was standing next to a pine tree.
Okay.
So I'm imagining it wasn't a little figurine.
Right.
I mean, this is on the wall of awards and medals. And the man's biggest achievements in life. And there's a picture of this on that wall. My guess would have been, like I said, just at a wild guess, 8 foot and 3.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
And it wasn't looking at him though. It wasn't like they were stalking each other. It was looking in an opposite direction. And I wish I could have got more of the story from him.
Yeah.
But once again, he's not going to say anything.
It's shut down.
Right. It's like, oh, but it's on his awards wall, as one of his trophies.
Wow.
And I didn't push the issue with him. It's like, you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I definitely took a double scan of the photo and was like, okay, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long night editing videos, so I could get this knocked out for today. But I really want to say thank you to Jerome for sharing his story, along with a lot of other people here. There are more stories coming up, and so if you or anybody you know has a story that they would like documented, encounters@modernexplorer.me, and I'd love to document your story. So thank you, Jerome, and until next time, cheers.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.